Well, let's ask a real expert. Let's go to Alp Mehmet, chairman of Migration Watch. Alp, you've obviously seen what's come out today. 5 major points been put by the Prime Minister to the country. It begins with small boats command. So he's talking about a change to the structures by which we do things in the English Channel. Do you think that's going to make a big difference?
Well, firstly, Nigel, let me just say, let's not be too churlish. He's really said things today. Ultimately, the public will judge him on results.
Well, I agree with that, Alp, but I'm making the point. David Cameron said the same thing. Boris Johnson said the same thing. Theresa May was the longest-serving Home Secretary in 150 years. What's he said that's different?
I accept all that. It's really a case of let's leave Cameron out of this because he wasn't around when the small boats started arriving. However,
he was around when people were coming across in lorries in very large numbers.
No, absolutely. And indeed, as you pointed out, Boris Johnson said, yes, if you arrive illegally, you will be sent back. And nothing happened. But I'd like to believe that it's a useful start. Let's wait and see. Will we have the right sort of political will? Will we have the right sort of courage in order to face the first sound of gunfire, or will they run hiding when all the massive resistance that's going to blow up in due course? I will say I will wait and see and keep my fingers crossed.
Big pledge here. No more hotels. Well, of course, the reason for that is they're all full already, aren't they? So we're going to put them in Butlins and Pontins all over the country.
Yeah, I think that was probably a little bit of a gimmick almost, because if the numbers continue at the same sort of scale that they are at the moment, frankly, we'll soon run out of Butlins and Pontins and the rest of them. So, no, I don't see that as helping to solve the problem.
One very specific pledge that he made with a timeline, going to put more caseworkers onto asylum cases and clear the backlog. He set a deadline, clear the backlog by the end of next year. Can he achieve that?
I doubt it. I doubt that it will happen. However, having a deadline for the number of people who are going to be cleared, how is that going to stop people coming over? If indeed, having arrived here, having dealt with them quickly, they actually end up staying here, then frankly, all you're going to be doing is creating more room in hotels and holiday camps for people to make their way over to stay in.
Yeah, it's not going to work. But the big one, the really big one is he's been talking to the Albanian government for quite some considerable period of time. He says that, number one, officers will be stationed at Tirana Airport. Well, what use is that? I mean, hello, Mr. Customs, hello, Mr. Border Force official. I'm thinking of coming to England. Well, that's not going to work, is it? And they're coming by dinghy anyway, most of them. But he says, early in the new year, planes will be taking off with large numbers of Albanians who cross the English Channel. Do you think that with the Human Rights Act in place and the Modern Slavery Act, a 2015 act of Theresa May, do you think it's achievable?
I'm not sure that as things are, it will be achievable. It all depends what the courts say, and the courts are actively considering what's going to happen with regard to the Rwanda deal. I think potentially, if it were to work, it could have some sort of impact, and we'll wait and see. I'm not sure that in the end the courts will go along with us. Let's hope they do. If they do. However, it's not just Albanians, Nigel. You know, what on earth are we doing providing refuge for young men with money in their pockets who are coming here for a better life? That's what it's all about. You've got to deal with them quickly, having held on to them and dealt with them quickly, then you've got to act. You've got to remove them. Until you do that, I'm afraid they will continue to come.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't think with the legislation currently in place, any of this will work because the judges and lawyers won't allow it. But let's see.